Okay, so good morning, everyone. It's good to have you on the call. Good morning once again, Emmanuel. Good morning, Omobonic here. Really great to have you on the call. So, as you know, this is like the third session in our scholarship series, and today our discussion is going to be focused on dealing with scholarship aces. That's responding to questions there. Okay, so someone is just about to join us, responding to questions that your university or perhaps your scholarship body will ask you to respond to. So first of all, I want to let you know that if you're applying to a university abroad, you'll be asked questions. You'll be asked to write something. Usually you're asked to write something like a personal statement, can be asked to write a motivation statement, can be asked to write a statement of purpose, or some universities call it motivation letter. So they are pretty related. They're pretty talking about the same thing. So usually universities abroad want to understand their potential students. They want to know your background. They want to know about your passion. They want to know about your interest. Are you really interested in what you want to study? Because your interest and your passion can determine your level of success, can determine your level of commitment. And so, trust me, they don't want you to do a course that you're not passionate about. I remember early this year when I was having interviews with potential PhD supervisors. Me, I was like, guy, I just want to leave this country. I want to get a PhD, just go. And I remember his supervisor was like, I want to be sure that you are interested in this thing because I don't want to bring you here and then you're not interested. So they are investing in you, their time and their resources. So they want to be sure it's something you really want to do. So graduate school is quite stressful and it's quite demanding. And so universities want to understand, is this person ready? Is this what this person wants to do? And scholarship bodies also want to know that is this person worth investing in? And for them, it's not just about are you ready to do this? They want to know are you a passionate person? Some of them would want to know. Some of them want to know if you are someone who has a leadership potential, such that if they invest in you, you're going to invest in other people. They want to be sure of this. And some want to know what kind of impact generally are you going to have in your career? Because if I grant you a scholarship, I'll be glad to see you doing great things in your career. So imagine great scientists like Isaac Newton. Imagine whoever gives them scholarship, whoever granted them a scholarship will be so proud that, yeah, one of my scholarship recipients is a Nobel laureate. So it's something of pride. I mean, I would call that a return on investment. So they are putting money in you. And so one way to tell that you are someone that will be beneficial to the society or perhaps to them, someone that will promote their image is how you portray yourself in writing. So writing is very important, even for university admission. Yeah. So university wants to write your personal statement and all. So this morning we'll be looking at a sample essay that is a certain scholarship requires you to write. That is the Chignon scholarship. They ask you to write 4 essays, 500 words each, and I'm going to be showing you. I won that scholarship, so I'm going to be showing you how I responded, and then I'm going to be giving you some tips on how to also respond to these essay questions. And then be rest assured that if you are good in writing, perhaps the essays for Chivning, trust me, you will also be good for writing essays for other scholarships because they are quite related and they are more about the same thing. They could differ in style and focus, but yeah. So let's take a look at what the Chivning issue looks like. Right, 1 minute. So I'm going to share my screen with you now. Okay. Hi, Mark. We have Mark joining us on the call. So, share screen. Okay, share, and then I hope you can see my screen now, right? Can you see my screen? Can you respond? If you can see my screen, can you respond?
Yes, sir.
All right. So like I said, Chipney will ask you to write 4 essays. The first essay is on leadership. They'll ask you to demonstrate how you've shown leadership in your community. And the second one is on networking. They'll ask you how you have used networks or relationships in your life to achieve maybe personal or career goals. And the third essay is they'll ask you, why do you want to study in the UK and why have you chosen have you made the university choices that you made? And then the fourth essay is to talk about your career plan at the end of the scholarship. So, okay, before we break down how I approach this essay, there's something you need to know. And that thing is how to approach essay writing for scholarships. So I'm going to put it in bold. So how do you want to approach essay writing for scholarships? Okay, so essay writing for scholarship generally is going to be testing your leadership experience. It's going to be testing your background in terms of what did you study and your career experience as well. It's also going to be testing your networking abilities, as how to relate with people, how you related with people in your work and all. And then we'll also be testing, why do you want to come to this university? Or perhaps why do you want the scholarship? And then it's also going to be testing your future career. That's your career goals after the scholarship. So you have to be sure that you touch these things in your scholarship essay, your motivation statement, or in your personal statement. Sometimes your essay question could be specific. They could say write a motivation statement, and then under that they will say we expect you to talk about how your academic background fits with this course or this scholarship, how your future, your career goals in the future, how they match with this scholarship, you know. So sometimes they can be very specific. So depending on which scholarship you choose to apply for. So there's an important technique that you can use to approach your essay writing. It's called the STAR approach. And the STAR approach simply means STAR. S stands for situation, T stands for task, and A stands for approach, and then R stands for results. So you use this approach in your storytelling. Perhaps you want to talk about your leadership skills. First of all, the question is, what does the scholarship want to hear when they ask you to talk about your leadership? They don't really expect it. I mean, they're not like some people used to be like, I'm not a politician, I don't have an NGO, I don't have a big position in my organization, so I'm not a leader. No, they're not asking you for big things. They just want to see how you have influenced one or two people in your lives. For me, one example that I usually use is I talk about my CDS experience when I was in NYC. I was CDS president. And yeah, I talked about it. And then I also talk about my job. I worked as a researcher on a project that was development related, and I believe it helped some individuals. I talked about that too. Some people talk about a tutorial they organized while they were on campus. Some people talk about their leadership in fellowship back on campus. I know someone who was like the financial secretary. She was like, I was a financial secretary in a fellowship, and I arranged the books during my tenure. I improved our financial reporting, and these were the results. So results is very important. Situation is, where are you leading? What's the situation? Okay. So for example, situation that could be, in 2017, I was a fellowship president. Okay. So what was your task? Okay. The task was, I was responsible for organizing meetings that guided young people to, well, I don't know if I can say improve their spiritual life, or perhaps made them better, or I also supported them academically. So you were on campus, you did different things to help people. And then what was your approach? Approach could be like, how did you go about this task? They want to like test how you manage people or how you manage resources. So you'd be like, oh, I organized meetings, I shared rules among the executive committee. And then what was the results? Did you help people better? Were there people that had bad habits, but when they came to your fellowship through your programs, they turned a better life? Yeah, a fellowship does that. I know some people who were a little bit wayward, they had issues with their academics. I mean, they were like a nuisance, or their life wasn't going so well, but fellowship put them straight. This is important. And you should be proud to talk about little things. These are not little things, they are great things. It's in your eyes that they look little. So basically, that is how to approach that's one way to approach your essay writing. It makes your storytelling catchy and attractive, and it makes it look good, you know, and it also delivers your impact. Like, oh, you didn't just hold a position. You can say I was a student leader, but if you didn't really do anything or show that you did anything as a student leader, that wouldn't really be useful. So now I'm going to take you to my Chevin essays, what they look like. So this was how I started my leadership essay. I started with a quote. I don't know if this was my final essay, but this was close to my final essay. I can't really say if I left the quote there or I took it out. So progress occurs when courageous, skillful leaders seize the opportunity to change things for the better. So my first paragraph showing how I showed leadership. As a teacher in 2017, I organized a forum in response to the high number of secondary school students that skip school activities in Jalingo town, Taraba State. So I'm kind of telling you the situation. I'm painting the situation for you. S is for situation. The forum focused on students from government schools and sought to provide the missing motivation that made students skip classes. So I found myself in a situation where students used to like skip classes and all. So my task was, what did I do? So for this example, the task and the approach are kind of like together. I arranged for motivational talks, bringing in speakers from diverse backgrounds to speak to the students. The students were taught different skills to nurture their creativity, including poem writing. So now I'm talking about results. I'm going into results now. So what was the results? 800 students benefited from the motivation that the forum provided. So that's part of the results. And then you can see through feedback, 400 students like improved their participation. So you see my attention to details, very important, very important. I am able to talk about what the situation was, how I approached it, and the results. So this happened while I was in the NYC. national youth service. I mean, it was just a small project. I didn't use like a lot of money for the project, but it worked and it had really great impact. And I continue to talk about it for different applications that I make. So you need to look back into reflect. You've done great things that people should invest in you. I know some of you here personally. In fact, quite all of you. You've done great things that I have been there. People will be willing to invest in you. You just need to take that step. So I've seen that people appreciate people who are like selfless. So yeah. Oh, there's a comment here. I think someone will comment. Okay, that's an old comment. So friends, basically that's how to approach your motivation essay, or perhaps any essay that you could encounter while applying for a scholarship. So I don't know if you will have time for me to also run you through a personal statement I wrote for another scholarship that I applied for. So this is more of like what I use for like university admission. But then like the example I showed you was for Chivney. So Chivney essays is like structured into four. But somehow when the university asks you to write the personal statement, it's like just like one writing, everything together. So I'm going to search for that and share with you. By the way, good to have you on the call, Mr. Shegun and Mr. Mark, wonderful senior friends that have impacted my lives at one point or the other. Thank you for joining us. So, just a minute. Okay, where is this folder? 1 minute. I think I was committed at the point where I was talking about my personal statement. So I said I use this personal statement that you can see on your screen for an application for a PhD program. And in the first paragraph, I talked about my motivation, why I applied to the PhD program. So I said that I love using quantitative techniques to study real world problems. I talked about how I used that during my master's dissertation to do a study in Vietnam and the results that came out of it. And then I said that this is what led me to pursue a PhD program. And then in the second paragraph, I talked about my, sorry guys, have you heard this part before? Just to be sure, let me take some feedback, please. Sorry guys, have I spoken about this part before? This personal statement part, like this very personal statement, have I spoken about it before?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. Okay, so in the second paragraph, I talk about my research experience and how it has helped me to develop competence for research, and how this talking about my research experience makes me look like a good fit for that program. And then I talk about what I intend to do as a PhD student that will bring a contribution to the program, how I'm going to make publications and all. And then I also talk about how my knowledge of the department, how I mentioned some professor and the kind of work they do, and how I look forward to working for them or learning from them. You know, that kind of makes me look like, oh, this guy knows about our research. He'll be a good fit. And then lastly, I talk about what I want to do after my PhD. So this is a typical personal statement. This is what you would see 80% of the time. So this is just about 600 words. So my career goals is here, my research experience and academic background is here. What my knowledge of the department is here, and so yeah. I'll take any questions you have. Our Zoom is a free one, so we just have about 2 minutes before it logs us off. So If you want to make comments or appreciate me, just put it in the comment in the chat box. But if you have a question, you can ask and make it short, just so that everybody gets a chance. Okay? I'll be taking questions now before we end the session. So, any question? Okay, guys. So, I believe you all have access to me on social media and in the group. So, if you have any question, you could just ask. Sorry, I will try.
Thank you very much.
I'll try to upgrade to a premium plan so that it doesn't have to log us out. Mr. Mark, so great to have you on the call. Mr. Shegun and
we appreciate you. We appreciate you, sir. Thank you very much for having me.
Sir, we can still join back with the same link, even after the link has expired. After you log out.
I used to hear it used to take like minutes interval or so.
Sir?
It takes like an interval.
Sorry?
I heard not immediately. You can't join immediately. You have to like wait for 30 minutes or so. Okay, guys.
No, we can join. We can join. I do use it sometimes.
Okay, so guys, let's see. I'll put a link on the group, and I hope you all will be.
The link is on the group, sir.
Okay. So perhaps let's join with the same link again. So I'll end and then start again immediately. Okay, guys. Bye. See you again soon in the next minute. Bye.